Got it.
No pressure.
Hi nerds, I'm here today with Aaron Galvin, and he is the author of two really cool looking series, the Salem's Vengeance and Salem's Fury, which I'm super excited to hear about because some of you already know I'm writing my own book about the Salem witch trials, so yay for witches!
Yes.
But I'm going to pass this over to our awesome author so he can tell us more about his two series.
Well, thank you, Megan. Yeah, the Salem's trilogy, it's going to be a trilogy. The final book will be out this summer, but it's set 19 years after the Salem witch trials ended, because there's a lot of books about the Salem trials, but nobody ever really talks about what happened afterwards. So I thought that'd be a kind of a fun series to write about, and it's got a lot of nonfiction worked in there. My other series is the Salt series. Books 1 and 2 are out right now. It's going to be about a 5-book series. Book 3 will be out around Christmas, but it's a kind of a dark take on Selkie slave catchers and mermaids. So it's about a crew of Selkie slave catchers. They go ashore looking for a runaway and find a different secret on land. So it's been a lot of fun.
Why did you just gravitate towards writing?
Sure.
Paranormal and historical and...
Well, I've always loved fantasy and little bits of horror and suspense and darker things in general. With Salted, it came from an idea from my mom. We were joking around about what should I write about, and she was saying vampires, and I was going, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing wizards, And she said mermaids, and I said, mermaids are for girls, Mom, And she said, well, why don't you, guys don't want to read about mermaids, Mom. And she said, well, why don't you find a way to make it cool for guys to want to read about? So I thought, oh, all right, I'll take that. And I ran with it, and then Salted is what I came up with. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
And so this is geared towards guys then?
Well, I found that girls really appreciate it too, because there's girl characters, a point of view named Chidi in the story as well. But yeah, it really works for both readers well. There's a lot of action and stuff in it, but it's just generally a darker read.
I love that. So finally a series that both girls and guys would really love.
So, reviewers have talked about before is they've said, I was nervous about a guy writing from a 16-year-old girl's perspective.
Yeah.
And then they read the book and they're like, I just had a reviewer who talked to me and she said, do you have a time machine, or were you born a 16-year-old? Because that's the only way I can rationalize what happened. So I think it was kind of an easy transition, because you really just kind of get in your own head and you as an actor, you always want something to play with.
You always have to. It's all psychological, like you do the background work and the character stuff, and that's why I think I want to kind of transition, because we read so much as actors that you can write eventually and do fiction.
For sure.
And so that's really cool that you're doing both. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a good, healthy balance, because, again, it's like actors, some of us are so extroverted, but then we all have that introverted side too.
Oh, yes, I know.
So I love events like these, because I'm able to get out and be like, hey, what's going on, guys? Let's talk and everything. But then tomorrow I'll just be my writer introvert inside
I totally understand that.
darkened room to write my dark stories. You know what I mean? You're a writer, So so it's like, yeah, it's just such a fun parallel, and trying to balance them all out.
That's so cool.
I have a writing playlist.
Oh, you do?
Of all these dark songs, or songs that make me so emotional.
Music going with the books is it's the perfect pairing. You can have a playlist while you're reading something, you're just like, oh, this totally reminds me of this.
All day. And that's how I have to listen to music when I write. So I've got my entire iTunes is all just movie soundtracks, just dark.
Yeah.
I need to find the right mood to get in.
Instrumentals?
Yeah, instrumentals all the way. Because if you're listening to a lot of times, I'll still listen to lyrical and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't want other writers in my head, because I've already got enough voices in my head telling me what to do in the story, and everything. Oh man, all day.
As far as when you write, what's your process? Do you kind of hold yourself in your room, like you said, you're an introvert, or do you go out in the environment and have a beautiful aesthetic around you? What's your thing? What's your niche?
I like to go to my man cave, and it's all dark. My wife always makes fun of me all the time, because it's just everything is dark, and she's like, how are you just not depressed all the time? But I go in there, and I think this is where the actor side again, I like to have conversations, and I know that sounds really weird to a lot of people. In my book, Salted, right? My main character, his name's Lenny, and he's from Boston, so I talk with a Boston accent all the time, And so I'll be talking to him, and I'll just have these conversations and stuff like that. And that's how it kind of starts playing out. And when I say the voices in my head kind of tell me where they want to go, you know, sometimes as a writer you want the story to go one way, and then I'll hear Lenny in my head and be like, no, come on, Gav, it's my
the
time.
characters
It's my
totally
time.
take it away from you.
Right, yeah, and they're like, I want to go this way. Let's go over here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's stuff like that that makes it a lot of
Oh,
fun.
I get it. I totally get it. The character takes over sometimes. I understand that.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But that's what makes it fun, you know. That's what keeps it entertaining, because you don't know where it's always going. You can have all the outlines you want,
Yeah.
but sometimes the character takes a different turn and you go that way too. So.
Completely.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool.
Thank you for talking with
No,
us.
come on, give it in. Coming in for the real thing.
Of course.
So thanks. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah. You're not the type of girl to remain with the guy too shy, too afraid to say he'll give his heart to you forever. I'm not the boy that will fall to his knees with the dance class type begging you please to stay with him for worse or for better. But I'm staring at you now, there's no one else around. I'm thinking you're the girl for me, I'm just saying